team. As you said, they move it swiftly. And they don't waste their teammates running as well. If somebody is in the right, they play the obvious pass as well. I said, the easy one. Somebody in front of you can see him. He's normally in a good position to receive the ball.
Torres scored the winner, of course, in the Euro 2008 final against Germany. In the 2010 semi-final, his team was beaten by a Puyol goal in Durban, that was. What a lovely ball through, and a chance squandered. Pushed wide by young Werner, but it was a beautiful ball played into him.
I think it's been flagged for offside. Oh, that's tight, isn't it? PK's beaten, drags his shot. Be disappointed that he doesn't touch the target, hit the target. Being flagged or not. He's trying to place it, which is not a bad thing. It's not really out of his feet. So he went for this sort of safer option. It's wide anyway.
Youngest player to 150 Bundesliga appearances, Timo Werner. Crossed that mark earlier this month against Stuttgart. Scored at the weekend, Leipzig's first ever win against Bayern. He actually started on the bench that day, came on after 10 minutes, and he went off 5 minutes before the end. And there was concern that he wouldn't be fit to start, the German number 11. Isco. Oh, lovely ball, just popped off to Thiago. Silva instinctively knew.
Didn't have to look.
Can you coach that?
Yes, you can at a very young age. I think it's easier to coach, actually, to players who are actually not particularly quick, because they appreciate that. They can't, as kids do, we all did, is if you have the ability, the speed, the strength to run away from people with it. Well, everybody likes to dribble. Early on, if you have good coaching and you...
It's Iniesta. Surrounded by green. Rodrigo Moreno. Support arriving. Isco with a little shimmy, didn't get through that time. Kimmich. Tight triangle, well played Germany, getting out until then. Just got a little bit dawdling with Müller. Kimmich, pressure from Silva. His teammates didn't help him there. Silva to Iniesta, still the passing wizard. A wonderful player he's been. Oh, lovely, lovely. Isco. Iniesta's crept into space. He was tackled well by Hector, but he is having a wonderful game. Andres Iniesta rolling back the years at 33. He's involved again, and was a little foul on Isco.
Yeah, Kadira. Had enough of the tippy-tappy stuff, the German captain. Committed a foul. There's so much trust in each other, isn't there? Just to be able to receive the ball under pressure. Admittedly, Germany not flying into tackles. It's not overly physical, not yet, but if they toy with the host like that a little bit more, then Kadira won't be the only one who decides that enough's enough.
Iniesta still very much at the heart of his team. And this is 124th game for Spain. Koke is yet to score for his country at senior level. To play a bigger role at the World Cup finals than he did at the Euros. We came on as a substitute just once. And Silva there will whip the free kick across, and Ramos was up from the back, and here's Julian Draxler now for Germany. Thought he'd overrun it, but he found Müller. Couldn't get the pass away. Here's Isco. 26 minutes gone, Evan. Isco and Iniesta have been superb.
Ability to glide away from people. At full stretch, they're just a little bit more comfortable with the ball. We saw Draxler all of a sudden bit of space. He's hardly seen it. And good plays, no matter how accomplished you are, when you've not seen it, all of a sudden then you want to do something a little bit out of the ordinary. He ran with it. He was at full stretch. He toe poked it to Müller, who was at full stretch, wasn't able to get the ball through to Werner. Spain has the ball back once again.
Germany 0, Spain 1. Time to tell you about games you have coming around the corner for you tomorrow morning. Join us at 11:45 on 1HD4K HD for Tranmere Rovers against Eastleigh in the Panorama. England under 21, Romania under 21 tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Germany against Brazil Tuesday. Evan and I lucky enough to be doing that one as well. Here's Silva. Moreno tried to find him with a return and it went wide.
I just thought he was going to drop his shoulder to the right and move to the left. David Silva wins the ball back. It's just that passage of play down in the corner. That was a joy to watch.
He knows all about Iniesta, but his team can't get to grips with the man they're called the Pale Knight in his time. Iniesta, the illusionist, one of his Spanish nicknames.
Not easy to make the transition from a great wide player to an equally great central midfielder now, if you like. He plays most of that position for Barcelona now for the national team, but when you can caress the ball and are able to see play so easily and find them, of course you still have to maintain your fitness and your desire, of course, to play at this level, and he's done that superbly well.
I think he's looked a little bit off the pace, Muller.
Muller's like that, you know, in lots of games actually. He doesn't. Technically, he's not as proficient as a lot of these players. You don't see him getting involved in too much of the one-touch delicate play, even for Bayern Munich. But he's a great finisher of moves. That's his ability, you know, to find space and be brave enough as well, you know, to do what is the hardest thing to do in football, is to make that final touch and stick it into the back of the net. So his role is not to be involved too much in the build-up plays. His best work is done further forward.
Golden Boot winner at World Cup 10, Silver Boot winner at 2014. That's a little bit careless, away by Carvajal. Werner, support arriving in the middle. Good kick up through the gears. And it's a good job that Ramos missed the cross. He might have poked it beyond his own goalkeeper. It's cleared by Jordi Alba. And here's Isco. It's 3-on-3. Khedira trying to get back for Germany and getting back. Isco. Silva is in the wide position. Has he delayed a little bit too long, I wonder? Iniesta arriving. Here's Rodrigo Moreno back into the middle. It's slightly overplayed it, and it's lifted over in the end by Iniesta.
Well, that's a shame, a great move. They found the ball actually from Rodrigo Moreno, was betwixt and between, just a little bit behind Koke, not quite on the money for Isco. Iniesta balloons over. We talked about the lack of pace, or we felt that there was a lack of pace in the Spanish backline, didn't we? Werner's exposed it, not once but twice. Flagged offside and pulled the shot wide, but that was nice acceleration past Gerard Piqué once again. Nobody was able to take advantage of the cutback. So if there is one area that, you know, we do feel that they are slightly vulnerable, is in the back line. Of course, you have to have the ball for long enough to stretch them.
Third centre backs 31. Here's Kimmich. And with a little touch on, and it's kneed away by Gerard Piqué, World Cup winner, European champion.
Blam enjoying a glass of something.
One of the world's greatest ever fullbacks, I think. So unassuming. Underrated, I think. Here comes that corner kick. And away by Rodrigo Moreno, back in there by Kimmich. Perfect weight on the ball from Iniesta. Goodness me. No free kick given.
Nothing wrong with that. John the sector. You do what any good defender should do. If you can't get the ball, put your body in so the opponent is not able to retrieve it.
That was the left back though, up there, furthest forward Spanish player. 31 minutes gone, Germany 0, Spain 1. 6 wins in the last 7, Spain. So it was nearly given away. Yeah, Koke, now out by Jordi Alba.
However, the only hurried clearance he placed tonight, Jordi Alba, on his right foot.
So I've seen a great deal of him. Kadira. Ozil again. Spain, by the way, have lost 7 times in 40 matches since World Cup 14. When they were found wanting. Tight 1-2, no foul on Iniesta. It's a good challenge by Ozil. Boateng. Did well to find Kimmich. Ozil, 1-2 play, lovely give and go, and off to Müller. Draxler. Hector in support, drove it across. Be a German corner.
Yes, and drove it well. I don't think it was on target. Took a deflection that sent it beyond the post.
Kroos, lovely ball in again. It came off Piqué, though Ramos was behind him. ...143 international appearances between the two. 243 appearances between the two Spanish centre-backs. Ozil picking his passes now. Kroos. Hector back to him.
It'll be a difficult pairing to shift one there, although I think Cesar Azpilicueta for Chelsea's a top-class defender, and he can fill in that right back as well. I imagine that he's going to get a few caps over the years.
Shows the strength they've got. If he can't get into this side, he's on the bench. And looks like Nacho Monreal can't even get in the squad. Carvajal, he's been a little bit iffy in possession, Carvajal, a couple of times. There again, he was caught slumbering. Germany quick to press him, just as Spain have been quick to press Kimmich.
Well, I would choose Azpilicueta ahead of Carvajal at fullback. I think he's a much more rugged defender.
Kroos, Kadira. Müller, great strike, terrific equaliser. Really good hit for his 38th international goal. And his first in a year. 1-1.
No, I've not seen every goal that Thomas Müller scored for the national team or indeed Bayern Munich. He does need to get involved in a build-up play. Jonathan, this is what he does, but not too often from outside the box like that. He's very much a penalty box goal scorer. It's a wonderful strike, isn't it? Not closed down. Iniesta's closest half-hearted attempt, and he guides that with power. It's not that far away from De Gea. Actually, I think it takes him by surprise.
Not great back lift either, was it?
It's a Seifert, isn't it? It's almost like one of those free kicks that we see the modern-day players taking, and they hit it with a Seifert, gets up and over the wall and comes down with pace. He did that with the ball just moving a little bit. That was a sort of smug acceptance that, oh, finally we've done it. Played awfully for 35 minutes and we've got ourselves back on level terms. Been outplayed really, Germany, but a brilliant strike from a top-class goal scorer.
Will Spain respond again? Silva, Isco, Jordi Alba. Not the best of balls into the near post where Silva had made the run.
Well, Werner looked the most dangerous of the forward players for Germany. Muller had made one foul on his near touch line and hardly touched the ball. Sight of goal. It's past De Gea before he can not quite blink, because he got close to it in the end. The Man United keeper, but not able to keep it out.
First goal in 3 days shy of 12 months since he netted against Azerbaijan away in a World Cup qualifier. Scored 5 in the qualifying campaign. Thomas Müller makes it 1-1. Kroos. As at Ozil. Ramos relieved the pressure. Kroos. Germany beginning to measure their passes. Just to say that.
Yeah. We don't see many lacklustre performances from the German team, do you? It's talks about the purpose and the energy with which they play. I think it actually helps them that they move the national games around the country as well. Dusseldorf tonight, back at Berlin on Tuesday. And everybody who supports the national team gets the opportunity to see them, it seems, on their own soil.
Played 25 times in Dusseldorf. Only played more internationals in Stuttgart, Hamburg and Berlin. Since the stadium was rebuilt here, they've played 3 times, won one, drawn one and lost one. They were beaten by Norway here back in 2009, I think it was. Spain trying to rediscover the rhythm. Dominated the opening half an hour. That's a poor ball by Thiago Müller. Boateng.
They weren't quite holding firm at 1-0 down, the Germans. Spain looked the more accomplished side and created a couple of half opportunities. The final ball let them down on occasion, as I knew would happen. They didn't panic. Slowly got themselves back on into the game first of all.
Flag raised against Rodrigo Moreno, but a brilliant shift of feet by Iniesta.
There's a touch from Muller just to set himself. Ball is just moving a yard or so away. There's no pressure on the ball, it has to be said. He scoops it up, doesn't he? And it has to be something special to beat De Gea, and that was. Who I think is the best goalkeeper in the world.
Neuer presumably will be back if he stays 100% fit to challenge that role as the number 1 goalkeeper in the world in the summer in Russia. Here's Hector. Kroos. Left back again. Deep cross. Jordi Alba's header away was a bit risky to head it back in there. Kimmich. Left-footed dink. Koke was there. Here's Isco. The terrific first half, he's fouled.
This is Julian Draxler's sole contribution to the football match so far. 40 minutes played and he fouls Isco and then boosts the ball off the field. I don't think he's been yellow carded actually. It's a little bit harsh. Isco just runs into him. It's so difficult, but you're just supposed to stop with your opponent and then just vanish, get yourself out of the way, allow him free passage to move forward. Sometimes those free kicks, I think, are, I won't say petty, but unlucky for him.
I didn't see a yellow card from Willie Collum there.
He shouted guys as if to say calm down to everybody, and then he decided, well, it's a friendly after all.
He was a head teacher at one stage, I think, Mr. Collum, then concentrated on his refereeing, then he went back into teaching. He taught religious education. Scotland. Here's Isco. Iniesta.
Well, it can be an experience watching Spain play at full flight.
Isco buzzes again. Nags away. Side. But he's always looking for a killer pass, Iniesta.
You just have to be close. Germany have got 4 players around him, but nobody within, 3 yards.
Is he offside there?
Yeah, he was just about. It was tight.
He played 90 minutes 4 times this season, Isco. Often substituted. Just sloppy pass off towards Thiago, who has actually kept his discipline and sat in there. Koke's helped him out. That's what they're playing for in the summer. That's not the exact one.
I hope not, because it's not where it should be.
Pickles the dog has long gone. Working against Macclesfield Town. Good Friday, 2:45 for Vanarama. Macclesfield top. 3 points clear at the moment, of course. Going very well. Yeah, Pickles the dog, if you don't know, was when the World Cup trophy was lost, or stolen actually, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Jules Rimet trophy.
Yeah, the old trophy. And it was found by a dog called Pickles.
Under a bush somewhere, wasn't it, in a bag?
In London somewhere, South London I think they found it. couple of minutes to go. Spellbinding first half for many reasons. So they've got a man over on the far side. Chancellor, can he make use of it? He's gone wide, blocked off, good defending, really strong and experienced defending by Sergio Ramos, and he showed a little bit of naivety there.
Even if Ramos didn't really read it, which I believe he did just about, there was no body movement from Draxler. Yeah, it's a standard drag across the body, and unless you shift your body a little bit more, your weight onto one foot, then you're not going to unsettle a good defender like Ramos that easily.
In the team for 13 years, Ramos, since he made his debut against China, March 2005. He's played in all the big tournaments since then. Gross, reverse
back, I believe. Was it initially when he came in the side? Because it was
yes,
PK and Puyol. That was his position at Sevilla, I think, more often than not as well.
I think he's a much more disciplined defender with Spain than he is with Real Madrid, where
can lose his head.
Yeah. I've been told that Pickles found that Jules Rimet in Norwood, South London. There you are. Here's Khedira. And once again, Ramos well placed. The career he's had with Real Madrid, 14 trophies, 550 plus games, but the 24 red cards. It's Carvajal. It's only his second appearance of the season for Spain. Carvajal, he played in the 3-0 win against Italy.
It's been a high quality 45 minutes, not quite with the intensity or the urgency, indeed with some of the discipline that you would expect from both of these two sides, with nothing at stake, barring reputation and of course, you know, people playing for places.
Well, it has been a fascinating first half of football. Rodrigo Moreno putting Spain ahead from a lovely pass into him, and Thomas Müller with a beautifully executed shot 11 minutes before the break levelled it up. Really good half of football. 1-1 at the break.
European under-21 finals in the early summer, so absolutely superb. Thought Spain were going to win it. They rested a lot of players for the final group game, I think it was, and never really rediscovered their rhythm. Saul is on for Spain. Silva is staying. We were talking actually during the break, saying I wouldn't be surprised if he replaced Koke's club mate.
Yeah, well, we saw Thiago return to the field, so he's still with us for the time being.
Silva is out there as well, just looking around to see who's gone off. But he's had a wonderful spell with Atletico Madrid, greatly consistent. And he's only missed 4 of their last 91 games. He's scored 6 goals this season for them. Hasn't netted for the Spanish side yet. And Willie Collum, the referee, just checking both sides. Can't see any German substitutions.
No, I don't see Iniesta, so it's like he's been given the rest of the evening off.
Well, he had a wonderful first 45 minutes. I think they're going to have to nurse him, or that's probably the wrong word, manage him very carefully through the World Cup finals in Russia, because he's 33 years of age.
Yeah, he's been managed at club level for Barcelona. He doesn't finish too many games either. Sensible, isn't it, when you've got a guy who you feel will still be key for you? Why flog him if you like, and you have capable replacements?
Well, they've brought on a capable one in Sal, that's for sure. And Koke's teammate is still on there, bottom of your picture, wearing number 8. But we do expect a lot of second half substitutions. Koke actually was a peripheral figure, I felt, in the first half.
Yeah, he was. He's one of those guys who, you can't really say he's a holding midfield player. He gets forward quite a lot for his club side, Atletico Madrid. But he's not someone who really troubles the goal-scoring shots too often either. He certainly links up the play, and sometimes that's just what you need in top sides, in all sides actually. Good continuity plays. You don't make too many mistakes. They're pretty disciplined, efficient in most areas of the field. Koke certainly is. He wouldn't be playing at the club he's at unless he's a top-class footballer.
Here's Werner, strong run from him, just nudged at the last moment. It's a corner kick. Good positive run, and I think that's probably what Joachim Löw has told him. Go out and enjoy yourself more and be more positive.
Direct when the opportunity's there, no doubt about it.
Germany started the second half well. Kroos, Draxler. Oh, terrific effort and a fine save too. It was veering in the air from Julian Draxler. That's his best moment so far in the game.
This time De Gea is equal to the shot. It's a super strike from Draxler. The same sort of, that's a great save. Same sort of technique actually, but more backlift, a little bit more momentum actually addressing the ball.
Really good goalkeeping. He's on the edge of the penalty area. If it comes out in the dropout zone, there he is. Khedira's ahead of him. Make sure he's on the side. There is Sami Khedira. And it comes off Koke, and it's another corner kick for Germany. There's more urgency in the German play at the start of this second half than we saw in the first period. Draxler with a cross, poorly played.
Well, they can play good possession football, Germany, no doubt about that. The fact they've become more and more with that kind of side in the last 10 or so years since Joachim Löw has been in charge. It started actually with Jurgen Klinsmann, but they can also be very direct. All of a sudden they can turn on the burners and become very forceful and very effective, of course, so quickly. And that's why you can never write them off at all the big tournaments.
Müller around the corner. Here's Ozil. Yard to his space. Ramos has been drawn out there. Ozil's got the pass to Kimmich, and it was just seen at the last moment by Jordi Alba. Piqué looked uncomfortable there with the ball played into a tight area.
And once again, the good plays, if you pressurise them, you force them to decide whether they want to play or overplay, especially in those defensive situations. And you will draw the error. And as good as Spain are, Germany will always have players who can trouble you and can take the game away from you.
Plenty of errors early on in the game from Germany, but we know they're resilient, of course. This wonderful record in World Cup football. They've only once ever failed to reach the last 8, 1938. They've reached the last 4 semi-finals at least. That's a record. In comes a cross from Hector, and away in there by Piqué. Spain under pressure at the start of this second half. Thiago.
Well, since I've been watching international football, I remember one mediocre World Cup, if you like, 1994, and perhaps 1978 as well. Apart from that, they're pretty much right on the money.
Here's Silva, steered away by Hummels. Taken in his stride by Mesut Ozil, didn't break stride. Werner, really good start to the second half by Germany. They're purring now. Ozil took one touch too many. Didn't one have a go first time, did he?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure it was actually set for him to hit first time. Once again, he's got to control it with his right foot. Jordi Alba's coming across pretty quickly, but I just don't think that he really meant it. I mean, he didn't have enough determination really to put his foot through the ball, put his body, his shoulder into the opposing player and be in charge.
Piqué didn't look comfortable when the ball came to him. I wonder if he's got a little bit of a problem. He's going off anyway to be replaced by Nacho, the Real Madrid defender. It's his 15th international for Spain. Wasn't in the squad in Euro 2016, but he made a couple of starts in World Cup qualifying.
committed player, Sami Khedira. Yeah, this was the challenge, that full stretch, him and Thiago colliding. And the big number 6 comes off worse.
Well, they'll take no chances. They respect what Juve have coming up around the corner, still in the Champions League, of course, and will play his old club Real Madrid.
Yes, anybody you would imagine is feeling something. Sometimes you know you can run off the knocks that you pick up in these games, but any slight strain, shouldn't be taking any chances with that. I'm sure that he'll be able to make that decision himself without Joachim Löw's intervention.
Thiago. Okay. Germany preparing to send Gundogan on. And just sit in that position, one would think.
He doesn't really like to sit there, does he, Gundogan? No. So a lot more pressure on Toni Kroos to be the disciplined one. He's now in the middle of the Spanish side. There's some help for Koke and Thiago in particular. He likes to get forward himself as well. They've got Saul, who's very much a sitter, or more of a sitter than those two.
So Sami Khedira's evening is ended. On comes Ilkay Gundogan, Manchester City player. It's his 23rd international. Only his 3rd of the campaign. He missed Euro 2016 and the World Cup finals 4 years ago through injury. Cruelly hit. Draxler tried to pick out the pass, and Saul was there. Isco, I haven't seen a lot of him in the second half. Alba. And Rodrigo Moreno, I think, had strayed anyway. And Mats Hummels. Have it, son. There's Iniesta. And Cesar Azpilicueta. Scored 5 goals in the under-21 finals in the summer, did Saul.
Yeah, covered a game against Lokomotiv Moscow. Just 12 days or so, the first leg where he scored a screamer at home from some 35 yards or so. Maybe not quite that. He doesn't get too many, and that was a spectacular one.
That's half a dozen this season, doesn't he?
That's not a bad return, actually, from his position. In fact, that's a pretty good return.
Rodrigo Moreno, Isco. Now Silva. Spain have played well within themselves in this second period. Saul. Pass off, and it's come here to Thiago. The big setup, Jordi Alba forward. And you can see why he's got a couple of goals in his last 2 internationals.
He was just a bit too far away. As soon as this ball is reversed from Thiago, it's got to be 3-4 yards further, and then he can hit it first time once he took the touch, and then Jerome Boateng was quick to close him down. Once again, the confidence, a real silky play. Of course, it's not quite at full intensity this match, but it's a joy to watch still.
Thiago. Poor crossfield ball. And Hummels was onto it, and that's a fine crossfield pass to find Timo Werner, and stolen away by Koke. Took a little bit of a risk back to Jordi Alba, but here's Thiago, and now David Silva, and Spain beginning to find their rhythm again. I wonder what change it would bring to the game if they send Diego Costa on. Silva, Isco, Dani Carvajal.
He might get spiky all of a sudden. Boateng and Hummels will know that there's a match going on. They've not had it easy so far, but they've had to be concentrated in the way they watch the ball, don't watch it too much, watch the players moving at the same time, which of course is very difficult, but that's when you find a guy who's right up against you and he's making life difficult physically for you. That's always a test.
Moreno, Rodrigo Moreno, back to Silva. Silva, the little wriggler, in comes across, brilliant move, Isco, fine stop, breathtaking move. Werner stayed onside, Ozil's in the middle, and it's blocked by Ramos. Carvajal was a bit hesitant. Draxler, chance here for Gundogan, he's placed it, and a fine save at the other end. What a very good passage of play.
And a fine stop at the end from David De Gea to match the one that was made a few moments earlier from Ter Stegen. This is a good block. No, the ball is coming straight toward him, but still he spreads it. So he never overcommits himself to Stegen. You don't see him going down too early. Even when he does, those arms are always spread out. This time it's the thigh that blocks the ball.
Cross looks for Werner, and again he's misjudged. He did one in the first half. Misjudged a cross in. Not his strength, that.
He got too close to his teammate. And in the end, by the time the ball arrives at you, it comes over your teammate and somebody else as well. So difficult for you to react, as you said, Jonathan, absolutely right. It's not a natural thing for him just to pull away and wait for the flight of the ball before making the run.
Kroos, Kimmich, Gundogan, Draxler.
That's a shame. Yeah, just a little bit heavy. Because Hector's got a good left foot. He would have put that ball in first time. Well, he wants them to press out the field. There's a crossfield pass. Beautiful ball from Hummels. On his weaker foot.
Yeah.
And there was no support for Werner. Ozil is the one who's in the box, but he's not going to score too many goals if they even come in head height for him. A bit slow to get forward and support.
Okay. Let's go back to him. Silva couldn't keep it in play. And another change for Spain. And another Real Madrid player who's going to come on, Marco Asensio. Wide player, can play as a second forward, replacing Isco. Only 21, player from Mallorca. A very good first half he's got.
Yeah. Once again, just giving him just under an hour. Make sure that you're keeping all the club managers, who of course are watching. They've got their eyes across about 4 or 5 games tonight, haven't they?
And Spain pressurising Kimmich. Saul, Thiago.
Asensio can be a little bit more direct than almost all the other Spanish midfielders on the ball right now. He's probably the quickest of the lot now on the field. He's a guy when the play is good in the middle of the park. So, well, if they can bounce it off a forward, more likely Diego Costa if he's on the field, then Asensio is adept at making those runs in behind. He's still a kid, and he can certainly improve his ability, to read the situation nice and early.
In his debut a couple of years ago against Bosnia, it was European Under-19 title winner in 2015. Asensio.
So himself and Isco, I think they were big players for Real Madrid last year because they all so often produced when they came in from the bench when the big boys weren't able to get things done. Those guys came in and were very productive and meant that the League of Champions were crowned because they had so many game changers who could come on and influence proceedings as much as the likes of Ronaldo, of course, did. Similar sort of role, of course. I think he's got to perform for the national side. You don't see him as a starter, do you, for the World Cup?
No, I don't think so. Silva, it's crucial for Spain, as we've mentioned before, how they manage Iniesta in what will be his last World Cup finals. Might be Silva's last World Cup finals as well. His third and last. 6 major finals for him in all. Just a little bit showboaty, that attempted clearance.
A great season, David Silva. I think he's actually in the form of his life. The number of goals he scored is a fine goal scoring form. Kevin De Bruyne has got so many plaudits so far this season, but I think Silva in the last couple of months has gone ahead of the Belgian in terms of his productivity.
Well, for Manchester City, he has 9 goals this season, 60 in all in his 339 games, but he has created 113 goals.
So Borussia Mönchengladbach manager, whose name has just gone from my head completely to the left of the 2 guys we were focused on.
What do you think the German press will make of this performance? Because they can be very critical. The Spanish press can be murderous.
I think there's quite a bit of grace in the bank, if you like, for this group of players and indeed for the head coach. I don't think they'll be overly critical, irrespective of the scoreline tonight, whether they're able to get themselves a winning goal or indeed they lose this game. They'll know that there's a long way to go, that this is preparation, things that will be tweaked. And remember, this is a top-class side that they're playing as well.
Only a slight tweak was needed on that ball up to Silva and he would have been through. Seems to be having a further forward role now, Silva. The Spanish fans here, based in Germany. Spanish fans never used to travel in great numbers until the golden generation.
Yeah.
Well, you'd travel anywhere to watch them, wouldn't you?
Of course you would, wouldn't you? Since 2007, 8, when they came into their own. Fantastic following in South Africa in 2010. Peter Hecking.
That's right.
Mönchengladbach coach. We're hoping that Lars Stindl may come on for. Is he available today? Is he involved?
Yes, he is. He's on the bench. And a wonderful Confederations Cup. It's a good ball by Draxler. Banner! Close, but no cigar.
Way to the pass was good, just a little bit wide. Not able to wrap his foot around it.
Did he get a touch there, De Gea?
It looked like.
That run was very closer-esque.
He's got a little bit more pace than closer.
Yeah. I think he got clipped there, Bernat. Carvajal just clipped him.
Probably uses up more energy than the likes of Klose, and certainly than Thomas Muller, because I said he's a little bit quicker, so he's got more to offer in that respect. If he can just shave off a little bit of that work he does outside the box and save it. But of course, when you are still quite new to the team, then you have to put a shift in to impress. Just always wait for the service.
Diego Costa is waiting to come on. In his first international since June, when he scored against Macedonia. I don't think he's a man who knows the meaning of the word friendly in terms of football. So competitive. Here's Kroos into the box, lovely run forward, and off the top of the woodwork from Hummels. Beautiful set piece routine.
Yeah, that was nice to see. A right smile. Should have scored, and he knows it, Mats Hummels. Either that or you head this back across for Thomas Muller. Completely free, gets in between Sergio Ramos and Jordi Alba. And Muller wanted it back across if that's not going to go in the back of the net. Good chance.
Diego Costa comes on. Your thoughts on Rodrigo?
He's a nice, tidy player. I think he's quite similar to Timo Werner in that he runs well in between defenders. I think he's a guy who needs a service. I'm sure he will get it playing for the national side, no doubt about that. In great form for Valencia. Took his goal superbly well. Don't often get too many touches, actually, as a striker for the national side for Spain, but when you do, they have to be right on point. You have to be clinical. They've had that with top-class strikers the last 10, 12 years, and
رغم أدائه الجيد في
الدوري.
نعم، أمر شكل صدمة كبيرة وأثار غضب جمهور المغرب الذي سرعان مع عبر عن ذلك.
They were credited with being the first nation ever to do that, but if you go back to the wonderful Hungary side, I think you'll find they did it.
I think that they actually need one, as well as they play, and you know, with the ball in these areas is fantastic. The way they can just manipulate and completely destroy some teams mentally. They need that focal point, and I think the reason why they turn themselves into very good international sides, into world beaters, is because of the pace, the direct running and finishing ability of the likes of Torres, in particular in terms of the pace. He was able to stretch teams, and then David Villa's cleverness around the box. So those two strikers really took Spain, I think, to a different level, because they've always had players who could really manipulate the ball throughout the 80s and 70s, if you like, and certainly throughout the 90s. Never quite had that killer instinct up front. I think that gave everybody else a lot more confidence.
Anyway, Sane getting ready to come on for Germany. Friendly matches of this nature do tend to fragment in the second half, but the fans have really enjoyed it. The atmosphere is terrific.
Yeah, I think it can be a little bit more disjointed when you bring on quite a few rookies, guys who are probably not quite at that level. They're looking to see if they can really match up to some of the superstars on show. I think the changes that we've had so far, so some of these guys are pretty accomplished already. Sane is one of the best young players in European football right now.
So a good run actually of 90-minute performances for Manchester City. Meanwhile, Asensio with a cross. Silva did well to readjust, because I think Costa got a touch in the middle, but he couldn't find the back of the net. Good chance for Spain, that.
Measured cross, he waited, didn't he, Asensio? Had a little look up. It's a super ball, I think. Another 5 minutes on the field. Diego Costa is just a yard further forward, and he can head that goalwards. He did get a touch.
The reason I mentioned that run of games, Manchester City not being sub, I think it shows a growing maturity at City for Sane. Wonderfully talented player, and has 12 goals this season for them. This is his 10th game for Germany. He's failed to find the back of the net yet. Had one starting qualifying for them. But just over 10 minutes the European Championship finals last time around from the bench.
I think his progress, Jonathan, has been highly impressive the last couple of seasons, because the last couple of times I saw him play for Schalke, though, yeah, he's a bright young talent, he could be a big player, but I certainly did not expect it so soon. Guardiola's done a fantastic job to bring him up to the not a level of brilliance, because he showed that already when he was in German football, but he seems to be doing it every single week.
Here's Silva. Nacho. Saul. Jordi Alba tried to sneak it through to Asensio, well read by Kimmich. Both had work to do. Referee putting it back for the foul on the young fullback. You know, I saw Leroy Sane. What really impressed me about him this season, Man City played at Crystal Palace. Definitely had a stinking first half. Absolutely awful. Nothing went right for him, and he didn't hide in the second half. He came out, he wanted the ball in the second half. He really wanted it constantly, and he turned his game around. He showed great courage that day, I felt. Now here's Hector. Sane. Back to him from Mesut Ozil. Here's Gundogan. Kroos. Ozil, side-footed ball round the corner from Hector.
It's a hopeful ball more than anything, that from Hector. Difficult for anybody to read that.
Do you think we saw enough from Julian Draxler today to suggest he'd be in the German starting lineup for the opening World Cup game?
One word answer, no.
That's massive, that game against Mexico. It's in Moscow. If they win that game, Mexico have got a habit, of course, of getting out of the opening group at World Cup finals, and it'll set them up nicely. Beat Sweden in the second game and they're through.
Yeah, you don't see Germany not going through, do you, from their group? Spain as well, of course. That's a mouth-watering clash against Portugal, the opening game. Of course, they would be expected to advance.
Vasquez is going to come on to replace David Silva. Decent season with Real Madrid and his 8 goals, although they've fallen short of their high standards still in the Champions League. Scored against Borussia Dortmund at home in that competition for them this season. Came to the youth team ranks and they sent him away to Espanyol and brought him back again.
I don't think Rashler is a good player. He is. I don't think he's not getting enough game time at Paris Saint-Germain. With all the quality that they have on show, who knows, with Neymar's injury right now, make it a few more minutes, a few more starts, certainly.
There's a story in the Spanish press today linking Neymar with a move to Manchester City. Certainly he doesn't seem happy at Paris Saint-Germain, but a big rumour, of course, was it was going to go back to Spain, but not Barcelona, to Real Madrid.